Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us again on this another episode of the LymeBoss podcast. I am Heather Gray, aka the LymeBoss, and I work with frustrated professionals who have tried everything to overcome their digestive issues, their horrible brain fog, and their chronic widespread pain. Could it be undiagnosed Lyme? It was for me. And I help you to get to the root cause of those issues so that you can get back to living a energetic, productive, and joy-filled life instead of being crashed out on the couch. Who wouldn't want more of that? Today is an awesome guest, and I'm super jealous because he beat me to writing my book. He's got a book out. I have a book in me. I need to get it written. So you've inspired me. But we've got TJ Nelson with us, and he just got done writing his first book, right?
Yeah, I've written like small little booklets, but this was the first actual book.
Gotcha. Called Walk the Lyme. I take it you're a Johnny Cash fan.
Yeah, and actually I'm still trying to hunt down the person in the Lyme group that gave me the idea for the title, and I can't find her.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, someone gave me that idea. It wasn't mine.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's awesome. So yeah, let's welcome TJ Nelson. I'd love for you to kind of give us a little bit of backstory, what inspired you to write the book. Obviously, you've got a Lyme story. So go into that and kind of, give us some little tidbits on how you got better, where you're at now, what you do for work. Like, let's just learn about TJ.
Wow, there's a lot right there.
I know, right?
Well, what got me to write the book was people had always told me, hey, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. You need to write a book. And anyone listening, I'm a little nasally because I'm overcoming a cold. But I actually got COVID in 2020 when it was really bad, And when I got COVID, it was, I had to do the nebulizer on my lungs. There's all this crazy stuff. So, I was pretty sure I wasn't going to die, but I had that moment late at night because I couldn't sleep. And I was asking myself, hey, if this was the moment when you would die, what would you have regretted not doing? And the first thing that came to mind was write the book. So shortly after I wrote the book, and I have a lot to say about how to write a book if I was to write another one of what I learned, but it depends on where you want me to go.
Awesome. Yeah, that could be great for another one because I might want to pick your brain on that because I wrote a chapter in a book and I would not recommend going that route. I spent a ridiculously amount of money to write a chapter in a book and it was silly. And so when I do go to write my story, I would love to talk to somebody who's already pioneered the way so I'm not having to make more stupid, expensive mistakes.
Yeah, as far as the reasoning for the book, it was basically Lyme was extremely lonely. There was during all of Lyme, I looked just like I look right now. So if anyone saw me right now, they would say, this guy is healthy, right? And so the severity of it, a lot of people knew I was sick, but they didn't fully understand the severity. And in the book, I talk about, so a lot of people call me TJ, but my real name's Taylor. And I kind of talk about this Taylor and TJ hanging out together because every day it was kind of just me and myself trying to survive. And I thought if I was to read a book back in those low moments, what would have helped me? And so the book is just basically here to validate the person with Lyme, their experience, and to offer some hope and inspiration.
That's beautiful. How long were you sick for?
With Lyme?
Mm-hmm.
That I was started getting sick 2016, officially diagnosed February of 2017. So that is 7 years.
Gotcha. And then what was your path or journey like, after you got your diagnosis, right? A lot of people think, oh great, you got your diagnosis. It's all good from here, right?
Yeah, it was there's a lot in there. At first, I had a lot of denial. And I came from door to door. So there was that mindset. My hardcore mindset really held me back and hurt me because I just thought, oh, I can power through. I can use my mind. I can do all this stuff. And I was antibiotics and all this, where Lyme kind of destroyed a lot of my mental concepts and I had to let go. So at the beginning, I was trying to push through and try and do it naturally. And some people do it purely naturally, but I needed a certain level of antibiotics at, throughout part of it. And yeah, it got to the point where I completely collapsed and basically got sent to a hospital. And I was in San Diego and I had to move back to Utah. And that was a very sobering moment of, okay, you're a lot sicker than you think. And you just got taken away. And well, yeah, police surrounded my house and it's a whole story, but I got taken away. And that's when I was like, okay, you're really sick and it's time to let go of these mental concepts you're trying to hold on to.
Well,
And
wait. It sounds like you were trying to gloss over a juicy spot. Like, back up.
oh yeah, the police thing.
Yeah. What do you mean
Yes.
taken away and please, what's going on?
Yeah. So in San Diego, I was super depressed
Mm,
with because of the Lyme. And I sent a bunch of texts out to people and I forgot. And I
oh,
sent them a picture of the Coronado Bridge and I said, man, I can't take this anymore. And I
oh,
sent them a
shit.
screenshot like in Google Maps. And so 2-3 hours later, I was taking a detox bath and police surrounded my house and they came in and I was so out of it, I didn't even know what was going on. So like I wasn't like my friend was on speaker on my phone and he was talking to me. He's like, what was that? What was that? Because he could hear him outside because they're yelling like, there he is. He's like, who's that? And I was just like, oh, I think there's just police surrounding my house. I don't know. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, I'll just go check it out. And I just let him in. And I was sitting on the bed and my brain, I was so out of it. It wasn't weird to me or anything. But the guy was looking at my feet. My feet were purple. I don't know why they were bluish purple, asking me why my feet were purple and all this stuff. And then I realized why they were there. And then they took me to a hospital. And on the way there, that's when I said, okay, you are sick, you need help, and you can't be out here in San Diego in a new city by yourself. And so I went back to Utah, where I'm originally from, for a while. So that I think was the most intense moment.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you actually going more into detail because I find, and part of the reason what started me doing these podcasts to begin with is that when we can bring our shadow story, our shitstorm story out right into the light, that's when people really can heal and feel understood and validated and that they're not alone, right? Especially when it comes to this whole Lyme experience. Like we're all very different as far as our stories go, but also a lot of similarities at the same time. I had two actual suicide attempts and ended up in the psych ward. And the first time I actually, I thought about writing some sort of a little like mini play or something because like this shit was like, I couldn't make this stuff up. Like the stuff that happened in the psych ward was just literally insane. Like,
Yeah.
so no, I appreciate it. I wasn't like trying to make you look bad by any means, but I wanted to bring, I kind of
No.
felt like I'm like, somebody might need to hear this.
Yeah, no, it's good. I didn't know like how in depth on certain stuff. But yeah, it was a psychiatric hospital, and then they're driving me over there. They said I was gonna have to be there for 3 days, and instantly I said, "Oh man, I can't be there for 3 days because I need all my supplements and all that stuff." And when I got there, the lady, I asked them, "Hey, do you have any food?" They said they had cartons of milk and bread, and I can't have dairy or gluten. So I just,
Great, I'm going to starve to death while I'm here.
yeah, I had to turn it on, and I got out of there in like 2 hours. But
Shut up.
well, yeah, and I pulled a move. So I was just acting completely normal and being friendly with people so to make sure they knew I was fine. And then when I was talking to the doctor, he was evaluating me. I said, yeah, I'm good. And my friend, because my friend lived in Vegas, I was like, my friend, he's on the way. And my friend wasn't on the way. And he said, cool, can I call him? And I said, yeah, you want to call him on my phone? He's like, yeah, but I'm going to step outside. But he calls my friend, and my friend realized what was going on and said, yeah, I'm on my way. So then my friend actually started driving because he's like, what the hell's going on? So he actually started driving to San Diego, and then they let me out. So I was like, wow, okay, cool. Got lucky.
Yeah, the hospitals, I remember when I was in the psych ward, I went to town on graham crackers and coffee. And that was before I knew I was celiac and that I shouldn't do gluten. But I mean, hospital food is just absolutely horrible. That's where people go to get better and heal. And it's just, it's deplorable hospital food. All we have is milk and bread. Ugh.
Yeah, it's weird. A lot of those places, hospitals and Clinics, they'll have milk, bread, candy, sugar, and then they don't get it, obviously.
About as bad as the freaking, was it Planet Fitness gym that I used to belong to? And like every Thursday they had pizza parties at the gym, and I'd walk in and I thought my head was gonna fucking explode. I'm like, what is this? Oh, we're rewarding them for a great. I'm like,
Yeah.
and we wonder why we have an obesity problem in this country.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely crazy. All right, so continue on with your story.
All right. Utah was intense. I was taking medications. I was doing ozone IVs, UV IVs, took Coartem, which cleared up some brain fog. The ozone IVs were so expensive that while I was doing them, it was like $450 twice a week. That I look at the machine, I was like, oh, longevity, right? Started asking the IV person all these questions. I called up longevity. I bought the EXT50 for, it was like $900 or $980 or something. Then I went to a welding supply company, got an oxygen tank, ordered a glass syringe, and butterfly needles off eBay, paid someone in Germany to teach me how to do it myself. And then I started giving myself
Shut up.
ozone IVs. Was little, I was using duct tape because I didn't have medical tape to tape it onto my arm. But I remember that was pretty intense because the first time I did it, you're pushing ozone gas directly into your vein.
Uh-huh.
And so, all the research I did, it said, yeah, this is fine. But the first moment, I remember I'm sitting on the floor. All I have is an infrared sauna in my room, and I'm by myself, and I'm injecting this ozone gas. And I go, wow, my life is, I'm literally, okay, hopefully I'm fine after this, So
That's another thing that most people with Lyme wouldn't understand. Like I've done MMS and done MMS enemas, which are chlorine dioxide, right?
yeah.
I've done when I bought an ozone machine, and I remember one day like I purposefully tried to OD on ozone because I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna, make somebody herx or something when I was working with them. And so I was like, rectal insufflation, vaginal insufflation in my ears, drinking the water. And then I even had some ozonated oil. And that's actually what did it. After the oil, I puked and I puked and I puked and I puked and realized, okay, you can't OD on ozone. So, okay,
Wow.
good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do the MMS chlorine dioxide enemas. I tried drinking it. I didn't know you could do enemas with it, but
So I got lucky. I had a friend back in the day who had an interview with Dr. Klinghardt. And this was like super controversial. And it was Klinghardt who was talking about MMS enemas. And they actually had to cut it out of the episode because of how controversial it was, probably still is. But my friend sent me the unedited version, and that's where I learned how to do some MMS enemas. And he wasn't kidding. He was saying that MMS enemas were more powerful than ozone insufflations as far as like getting to rope parasites. And sure enough, I saw stuff come at me that I was like, huh, isn't that
wow.
interesting? So yeah, like I said, I look with a kind of a look of horror on my face, and please folks, do not try this at home. Do not take this as medical advice. Please contact your daughter. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. But yes, it's sad, the stuff that us limeys have done to ourselves in order to get ourselves better without going, well, I've gone bankrupt twice. So I have bankrupted myself. So
yeah, it's funny sometimes, like people have never been sick, or just people out, everyday people. If I mention coffee enema and they think it's the strangest thing in the world, I just tell
oh my
them,
God, I'm always talking about coffee enemas. I love them.
I'm like, you've just never been sick, right?
Right.
Trust me, if you've been sick, you'll do a coffee enema. It doesn't matter.
Every week, like clockwork, I do them.
Yeah.
For the last 7 years.
Oh, once a week. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I was doing them 3 to 5 times a week for a couple of months. But now, I'm a functional practitioner, and I've overcome so many things in my own health journey that I do them once a week, just as like a maintenance type protocol. But yeah.
Nice.
And I have a tendency to run a little on the constipated side to begin with. So it's just
Okay.
part of my thing to keep me detoxed.
There you go.
Right.
Your thing.
Okay, so all right, so sorry. So you're sitting in your room, you get ready to put ozone gas into your veins.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember I was sitting there. It was a moment of clarity, kind of like when I got handcuffed and sent into the hospital in San Diego. It's just one of those moments where, you know, you can have all this stuff going on and then your brain just kind of stops for a second and realizes, wow, this is how bad I've gotten, where I'm in Utah. Never thought I'd live here again. I'm sitting on the floor. All I have is a bed of infrared sauna, and I'm about to inject this gas. Hopefully it works. And yeah, I just remember that moment. I was using duct tape to put it on my arm because I forgot to buy medical tape, but it worked. It helped a lot. But that's also controversial.
Yep.
So to inject this gas straight into your vein, you can't do it too much because it kind of beats up your vein faster than other stuff. So I haven't done it in a long time, but it worked a lot better than the ozone. What's it called? Insufflation rectal or whatever.
Yep.
So it just worked a lot better for me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I tried everything. I was making my own kefir or whatever. I was making my own sauerkraut. I was spending all day, like 9 to 5 on my routine, dry skin brush, infrared sauna, detox baths, the whole thing. And I've done a lot. I did hyperthermia, SOT, stem cells, a lot of it. And yeah, that's why it kind of is crazy how much money you have to spend certain things. So sometimes I feel bad when I'm in certain groups, and a lot of people they can maybe barely afford some basic antibiotic therapy, where sometimes you need the IVs and stuff. So yeah, I spent a lot of money trying to figure this all out.
You know, I have as well. And actually, back when I told you I've actually gone bankrupt twice, done a couple GoFundMe's, like I found, and I don't mean this to sound like cocky in any way, shape, or form, but the people who are really, 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 truly want to get better, get creative at finding ways to afford what they need. Like, period, end of story. Like, I had a really tough time in the beginning as a practitioner. I was giving away a lot of stuff. And then I was getting resentful because, you know what? They weren't following through. Here I was gifting them my $600 course, all the education, everything I've learned, the fucking foundations of health. Here you go. Not one episode did they watch. And after doing that a couple times, I actually kind of stopped feeling bad. Because like I said, back when I first got diagnosed, I was on welfare and, managed by the grace of God, by my own willpower, by my own sheer determination of, I'm going to get over this. I'm going to do whatever the hell it takes to get over this. Right. Yeah. There's a lot of free information. I put out a shit ton of free information, all the time. And so, yeah, I kind of did stop feeling bad because I just really haven't met a person that said I can't afford it. And then also they followed through with whatever I gave them.
Yeah. I used to, I built a website a long time ago with a course and everything. It was $97, but I gave it to people for free and they wouldn't do anything. But it's that, what is this saying? If you don't pay, you don't pay attention or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So, skin in the game,
Yeah.
But you got a little more skin in the game.
The creative, I had a friend, he taught me how to do some arbitrage. And in Utah, the delivery guy hated me because I would order a bunch of massage tables and canopies and random stuff from eBay. And then I'd sell it on Facebook Marketplace for more.
Oh,
And so I was just constantly getting deliveries to the apartment. And then like one time I would experiment with stuff. I listed a tool set on Facebook for $20 more than what it was at Walmart. And someone said they'd come buy it. So I drove to Walmart and bought it and then just came back, So
see what I mean though? Talk about getting creative. Like, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I was basically selling random stuff and then some weird stuff with crypto back in the day. And that's how I was paying for everything.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to start getting better?
I would say the entire time it's always been kind of like this.
Absolutely.
The overall trend has been up, but I distinctly remember. So probably exactly a year ago today, this month, I remember the suicidal thoughts went away. So it was kind of like suicidal thoughts 27 days out of 30 for probably, 6 years. And And I just remember I just haven't had them since. And regular people, when they hear suicidal thoughts, they go, oh my God, like, but it's a symptom. When your brain's job is to avoid pain. And when you're in that much pain and it doesn't know a solution, then it goes, well, this would work.
Right.
So it's constantly there. And, so I would say when that stopped, that was a year ago,
Wow.
about this month.
What a
But
blessing.
yeah,
Yeah, I used to go 5 times a day. I
Mm.
used to tell people 5 times a day, I'd have to talk myself out of figuring out ways, I'd be driving down the street and have flashes of like, I could just take my car into that tree, or,
Yeah.
just random things throughout the day. And like I said, if
Mhm.
people knew the thoughts in my head, I probably would have gotten locked up for good. And I'm glad they didn't, because I didn't deserve to be locked up.
Yeah. For me, it was a constant, like just a background thought all the
Yep.
time. I
Yep.
just got used to it. But yeah, so I'd say that's when it was probably the biggest shift. The last, I don't know, 3-4 months, I understand what the word gratitude really means, just because I feel so grateful. I just feel good a lot of the time. I still can't fully exercise. I
Mm.
thought I was able to. December, I got like a Muay Thai bag, put it in my gym, in my garage. I was like, yes, I can finally work out. And I was like, okay, not there yet. I'm still healing mitochondria and stuff. And like, I'll run sales meetings, and it is crazy because I ran, my business is 4 years old, and building the business while dealing with Lyme was just intense. And I'll run sales meetings now. And because I used to have to run them while I was feeling I would wake up and I would inject Toradol in my leg to go run a
Oh
sales
my
meeting.
God.
And
You're
now,
hardcore.
now I go run the sales meeting, and sometimes I'm looking out, I'm like, wow, this is so easy. This is so easy.
Oh.
Because I was doing all of it before, where you have to take all the pain,
Mhm.
compartmentalize it, will yourself to get out and do all these weird things but yeah. So
Yeah, my
these days,
ex-husband never understood. He's like, I never understood why life was just so hard for you. I'm like, because it wasn't just fucking life. It was life with Lyme and mold and 3 autoimmune diseases and a constant,
yeah.
thing in the back of my head telling me to take myself out. Like, when you
Mhm.
have all those different burdens, like really, like everyday life, it is actually it is kind of a bit of a walk in the park, right?
Oh yeah, life on easy mode. I'll be like, I guess, to explain it to people, I say, hey, have you ever had the flu? Yeah, how'd you feel? Okay, so if you felt like that for 6 years, you think you could get a lot done,
Right, right.
Or
Absolutely.
if you have a phone, it's on 5%, the screen's broken and it's bugging out, and you gotta make sales calls all day, and you're gonna struggle. So
Absolutely. That's a great analogy. I love that.
yeah.
What a blessing. So, did you find that there were some gifts of your Lyme disease? Like, what have you learned?
Yeah. And I'm at the point where I can actually say that,
Right.
because before, people would be like, whoa, there's hidden gems in the Lyme. And I was just like, man, screw you. And I'm not saying I would go through it again.
Right.
Definitely would not do a repeat. But no, I think my base level of happiness is just higher than an average person that hasn't been through a severe health problem like cancer or whatever, just because of 6 years, 7 years of feeling like shit. And then now, just, I don't know, even when I'm driving around, and I'm just like, yeah, everything is everything's good. And then anything external is just the icing on the cake type of mentality I have now.
Mm.
So it gave me that, see what's important in life, probably humbled me a lot. Uh, and just, I guess, seeing the deeper things, the deeper side of life and the seriousness that can be there. So I didn't know that kind of suffering was even possible.
Mhm.
And then you take my suffering, and there's people with even more intense suffering. I'd go to the IV room, people with Lyme, they'd have to sit in a gravity chair. They couldn't eat if there's any amount of pressure on their body, they're in severe pain. So um, it's just wild how much suffering and crazy stuff is going on in a lot of people's lives. And I am when I wake up and I don't feel the suffering and I actually slept 8 hours, it's just from there, it's just cool. I'm already good. It's just bonus. Everything's bonus now.
I love it. Everything's bonus.
Yeah.
So what was your like overarching theme for the book? Like, why did you have to get that out? Was it too inspired? Are there like nuggets to kind of, this is what I did to get better? Like, what was the motivation for writing it?
Motivation was I was thinking of the person with Lyme and how I could give back in the best way possible from my experience. I'm not a doctor. I say what I did. I talk about all the different treatments, all the supplements, all the different stuff I tried, everything. And so that's all in there. And so people can get ideas and whatever, but also the mindset and the stuff I went through. So it's more just, hey, if I can help you feel a little bit less alone and give you some hope, then that was the whole point. And when I talked to the editor, because they kind of, a lot of books are written for different reasons. But they said, yeah, you're trying to put people into a Facebook group, you're trying to create a program, a course or this. And I said, no, I don't want to do any of that. Just want to write the book and help some people out. And that's it. I already have a business. I don't make money. You don't make money selling a book anyways. But that was the whole point. It was just a passion project.
Nice.
to impact people.
Nice. Yeah,
So,
mine is going to be called, because this is what I said after I got my diagnosis after 27 years of being undiagnosed. I'm driving down the highway, tears streaming down my face, and I screamed at the top of my lungs, I told you I'm not crazy, because that's all I ever got labeled with, right? My whole fucking life. And so that's going to be the title. I told you I'm not crazy, the realities of Lyme disease. Right.
I like it.
So I know, right? Like I just don't like to write. And so just I know. And then after writing that chapter, and when I wrote that chapter, she edited it to the point where I don't even hear myself in the chapter anymore. And that like pissed me off and like sparked me up even more. I'm like, all right, now more than ever do I need to get this book out. And two, and like I said, just it's going to be part inspirational hope and then part practical, because I am a practitioner. I took everything that I learned and became a practitioner, and I continue, education. I just did 3 new certifications in the past 6 months, and I'm pretty sure my brain is oozing out of my ears out as we speak, because I'm probably pushing it a little too hard, but I'm just so lit up by all this and all the different stuff out there that we can, do to help people, and just not focusing on treatment. Like that's the biggest thing I like to spread awareness on, that you can't just focus on treatment.
Yeah. Oh, and that I'd say the last 6 months, unfortunately, I couldn't put this in the book because I kept adding stuff to the book, and they said, TJ, you need to have an end to the book, because I keep learning more and more.
Right.
I saw this awesome doctor
Addendum.
Yeah, this awesome doctor in Canada, and like he looked at family dynamics. I talked to a family constellation therapist doing somatic experiencing. They had me get this thing to remind myself to stay in parasympathetic.
Absolutely. Number 1, ding, ding, ding.
I got this thing called heart math.
I love heart math.
Do that. I'd have the alpha stim, and it stimulates alpha, the wave, the calmer wavelength, and meditate. This like Resimax for the vagal nerve. And so now, because it's like I'm type A trying to be type A minus. And, the biggest thing is that, he said, look, you're at this point. I mean, you've killed a lot of others. The only thing that shows up in my labs now is Bartonella. Bartonella is a little savage. I hate that guy, but if we're gonna personify it, right? But so that's the only thing that's showing up. But it's basically, it doesn't matter how many supplements, doesn't matter what I'm doing. If my body thinks it's running away from a bear, it's not gonna heal.
Absolutely.
So my biggest thing now is, how do I stay in the parasympathetic? And I'm working with somatic experience person, doing this, the alpha stim, the Resimax, all those things to stay in that state.
Sounds very similar. I teach somatic experiencing work. I teach breath work. And then I have a bioenergetic machine that I use that helps keep, like, for the first time in my life, I am in control of my moods for the first time in my life. Like my nickname used to be the Hulk, because Hulk smash, because I mean, it wouldn't take much, I'm also, Mexican, Irish, female, I'm an Aries, a lot of fire, right? It didn't take much to tip me in the wrong direction, and especially with the Lyme and the Bart. But now after doing these techniques, like that's the last time that I relapsed, was because I kept focusing on the physical and didn't focus on the mental, emotional, and the brain retraining and the nervous system regulation and that shit.
Yeah.
I have a client who keeps trying to skip that part, right? What's the next supplement? What's the next blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, no, go back to square one and do your goddamn exercises. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. It was cool. I mean, he even went deep in my family history, and I had an older brother that died a long time ago. And he goes, he's like, yeah, so you have this older brother. Do you have a picture of him anywhere? I go, no. He goes, you ever talk to him or think about him? I go, no. And he even, the doctor, he's even, yeah, it sounds weird, but you should get a photo of him, put him up, and every now and then say these things to your brother and keep the connection there. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference. And so there's a lot with healing that you're basically forced to level up as a human being in all areas in order to heal. Yeah.
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
like, all right, if I gotta heal my family relationships, I guess, I'll do it. Just
Right.
yeah.
And if this is the way that gets you there, like, it's bizarre. It's like cosmic 2x4 upside the head.
Oh,
But yeah,
no.
so this is the shameless plug time. Like, I would love to know what you're working on, what you want to bring awareness to, even, like I said, even though I know your business is not related to Lyme, so you're solar, you got
Mhm.
direct solar, like, tell us a little bit about that, or what do you want to plug right now?
I mean, I think for this, just walk the Lyme. So walkthelyme.com, and then or just find it on Amazon, and that's the book, that's my story there. So if people want to read that, I mean, I have a solar company, but we're in Vegas. The only real thing that I could plug is to recruit more salespeople. But so if you're in Vegas and want to do door to door, I have a solar company, but Walk the Lyme is the main thing.
That takes a special grit to do door to door. I tried it once when I was working roofs. So working in a roofing company, and they wanted me to do door to door, and I did it for a day. It was like, nope, this isn't for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is not for everyone. It is an intense career path.
Awesome. Well, TJ, I so appreciate you taking time out today and rescheduling with me. I know I had to cancel on you fast the last time, so I appreciate your grace, and I appreciate your patience, and just love spending time and getting to know you and a little bit more about your story. And hopefully people will pick up a copy of the book and get inspired and know that they're not alone and that there is hope, right? If anything, that's what we're out here doing, is trying to just shine that light and say, hey, over here, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it was good being on here, and I'm stealing your cosmic 2x4 line. That was good.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got quite all kinds of lumps from the cosmic 2x4s over the years. It seems that's the only way I get lessons, is right upside the head.
There
So
you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho. All right, everybody, have a healthy day.